The classic cruise in Belle River was a great success. Not too hot, not too cold. Lots of people turned out for a great time. If you were there, you'll know what I mean. I'll have a video on the cruise coming out soon. But I'm as interested in the stories behind the cars as much as the cars themselves. As you know, there's a story behind every car. While at the classic cruise, I ran into a guy named Dave. And Dave has a 1964 Galaxy 500 Fastback. That in itself is not unusual. But I hope you'll enjoy this barn-find tale of how this beautiful car was discovered and brought back to life.
This car came to us at a Tim Hortons, a group of guys sitting around having coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning, and a friend of one of the guys came up to the table and he said, "We've got an old car in our garage we have to get rid of. Does anybody want it?" I asked, and they weren't sure what it was, and they told me exactly what it was, and I asked the address. Got to see the car, and it actually took a year before they let us in the garage to see the vehicle. And as soon as we saw it, I even bought the car before I even saw it, to be honest with you. I was willing to take a chance on it.
The owners were asking a bargain price, in fact a real steal. The car wasn't perfect, but then it wasn't that bad either. All it needed was a little love.
No, it needed a lot of tender love and care, a lot of elbow grease, but for the most part, the car was very, very solid. It had been stored in a garage, and it was surrounded by newspapers and cardboard. The people were kind of hoarders. So all that newspaper and all that cardboard kind of soaked up the moisture that would have attacked the car otherwise.
Dave says the car had been stored away since at least 1977. When he bought it 2.5 years ago, it had only 18,200 miles on it. It now has 18,600 miles on it. When he got the car, it needed a little work, but with the help of Dave Jr., it was restored to new.
We took the vehicle apart, just elbow grease, scraped all the frame down, painted it, took the body panels off, cleaned them up, sent them out, got them cleaned and painted, and really, honestly, it's just elbow grease. There was very, very little rust on this vehicle when we purchased it.
Dave tells us everything on this car is original, right down to the interior.
Everything on this car is a numbers matching to the point of the original spare, which is a Firestone bias ply gum dipped, is the original still in the trunk, never ever been out of the trunk.
And what about the engine?
The engine, we changed the distributor, we changed the intake, and new spark plug wires, obviously, and changed oil, and it started.
He says getting this car in top shape was mostly scrubbing and polishing. But this story isn't over yet.
There's a 6-year-old little girl we built it for her. So when she turns 18, it's her car. That's why my son and I built this car.
Dave and son Dave with their 1964 Ford Fastback. And soon to be Zoey's car. Now you know the story. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, we'll see you at the car shows and cruise nights.